Well, hi there. My name is Mitch Schneider, and welcome to my world. Today is Saturday, November 2nd, 2019, journal number 214. That's hard to believe, but it's the truth. And T plus 214, 214 days post transplant. Um, I don't know. I think I may be onto something here. It's hard to believe that anything's new anymore, but I may be onto something here. I've been doing a lot of thinking about uh, communication lately. Part of it's because of the book that I wrote, which is a very high level form of communication, I'd like to think, at least. And part of it's just in response to all of the thinking I've been doing about podcasting, like writing and blogging and podcasting. Oh my, there's a lot there. But it occurred to me in the middle of all of that that you're either a vessel or you're a fountain. I know that may sound odd, but stay with me for a minute. Excuse me while I choke to death. Um, you're either a repository of information, data, knowledge that you've acquired, or that's been sent your way, or you're a source of that knowledge. In other words, you either have a choice between sitting on top of it, holding it, um, curating it, if you would, um, taking care of it, or you have made a conscious effort to share that knowledge and send it along to other people unselfishly. So you're either a repository or a source, a vessel, or a fountain. And I've been thinking about that a lot in the context of podcasting. The three interviews that I had with Carm Capriotto and the three podcast interviews I had with Dave Farrow, um, Mark Silverman, and Audrey Strong and C. Lee Smith, and what that's all about. And while it's true that a number of those interviews had at least something to do with um, creating awareness through exposure of misfire, what to do when things aren't running on all cylinders. The book that we just released, we being the majestic plural, that I just released, um, although it does take it does take a village to get a book out. It took Ryan and Frederick Haugen and Lauren Passal of Tink Media, all of us working together to start creating this exposure and awareness and interest in the book. And it's an interesting phenomenon when that's not what you started out to do. Um, when initially your vision was much smaller than that, when your vision was just to unselfishly share all of these concepts and ideas that you'd managed to collect over a lifetime of being in business, an employer, and being out in the world as an educator, as a writer, trade journalist, in your attempt to help other people who do what you do uh, accelerate their journey toward success. But it's interesting. It's interesting the more you think about it, the more you're able to think about it objectively. And that's hard to do when you're in the middle of it. I mean, it's really difficult to be objective when, by virtue of who you are and what you do, you're really very subjective about the topic. and about its meaning. But the fact of the matter is that I really believe with a perfect faith that all of this knowledge, all of these experiences, everything that we encounter in the course of a lifetime are meaningless if we don't share them. Um, and that's interesting because at some point you've got to realize that all of this information is either coming to you or it's traveling, flowing, probably would be a better word. It's flowing through you. So again, it goes back to this idea of either being a vessel, a collecting place for all of this knowledge, or a conduit, so that it can be transferred on to other people. And I think the incredibly important part of any idea, especially an idea that's worthwhile, an idea that has merit, that that potentially has the opportunity to change thought, in which case it can change life, can change lives, is critically important. So recognizing that really has a tremendous influence on how you operate in the world around you. Certainly for me, there's an interest in being a guest on other podcasts to share what I've learned and what I know, and the idea of misfire and the message that's, the message that's folded into the pages of the book. But it also goes beyond that to consideration of becoming a source not only for my ability to translate or transfer that information to other people, but also to have other people come and enrich my audience, my community, the people that have chosen to listen and to follow and to dig out whatever they could from whatever it was that I had to share. And I think that that's worthwhile. I think it's important to recognize that none of us are in this alone, that we're all part of various different communities, and those communities interlink with one another, and that's really important. And these communities develop around certain central thoughts and ideas. And it's important that that we choose to be generous with those ideas and not selfish. So that's what I'd like to leave you with. I'd like to start a discussion about that. It would be great if you could go ahead and see your way to communicating your thoughts and suggestions, feelings about any of this, because I think it's important. It's like, when do you make the decision to act as a fountain? When do you take the initiative to share your ideas? As Khalil Gibran would say, and shoot them out into the universe like arrows. And when do you choose to take whatever you've learned and use it as an individual? I'm trying to find another word other than selfishly, but I'm having a problem right now. So I said, just keeping that idea, that concept tucked away. And then the question is, are you tucking it away until it's fully formed, until it has a chance to gestate, until it has a chance to become something more worthwhile, and then share it? I don't know. In many cases, I found the need to revisit certain ideas, even after sharing them. So think about that. Do these ideas, what do you do with these ideas that come to you? What do you do with the ideas that you've chosen to allow to flow through you? Are you a vessel, or are you a fountain, or are you both at any given moment? And what makes sense to you? Till tomorrow, stay well, take care. Tomorrow may be late. Tomorrow may not happen at all, actually. Tomorrow is Oliver's birthday party, our grandson's birthday party. So we'll be celebrating that. And I'm not sure, how much of an all day affair that's going to be. My guess is it's going to be a marathon. So until the next time we get together, stay well and take care.